Riley from the Energy Boutique with your energy and Ascension Forecast for Sunday, February 27th to Saturday, March 5th. So let's cover last week before we jump into this week. We have a lot to talk about, especially saying how last week was supposed to be quote unquote quiet. Technically speaking, we had a lot of moon movements, a lot of emotions, a lot of shifting. And had it not been for the moon in Scorpio and the sun in Pisces, things wouldn't have felt so heavy, so drugged-like, very groggy, very foggy. And of course, the real only aspect that we had last week was the last quarter moon in Sagittarius. That definitely shifted our beliefs, shifted our perspective. Definitely open our minds up, open our heart space up to the possibilities of the future. But the big thing that technically wasn't even an astrological event, it was more of a numerological event, was the closing of that 222222 portal. Okay, so that portal opened up on the 2nd, closed on the 22nd. And we've had 3 weeks of very riveting changes worldwide. We had a huge amount of people awaken. We had people jump timelines, quantum leap into a brand new reality. We had a whole bunch of activity globally take place that really kind of reminded us that humanity, we're coming together, we're unifying. We are fighting the darkness and the hatred with love and light. And that's how we are going to win this war. That's how we've already won this war in other realms. But that 2222 portal closing was a freaking doozy. I don't know if you follow the posts that I put out on Facebook or Instagram or even here on YouTube. But I made a post not only showing the energy coming in with the Schumann Resonance, but kind of made a little bit of a blurb on the feelings, the experiences that we were having with that portal closing. So if you didn't read it, if you didn't see it, let me just give you a summarized version. Let's go back to the 2nd of February. Let's say that we took flight. We're all on a plane. We get up to altitude. We were on this beautiful plane, okay? And as the flight was going, we were seeing a brand new perspective. We're looking down on the earth. We're seeing it from a new set of eyes. We're all kind of congregating up in the air, talking about, coming together, realizing that we got more in common than we do in differences. And all of a sudden, towards the end of the flight, as we approach this, 22nd number portal, the freaking door of the plane just blew off. Okay. So you can imagine how scary and disorienting that would be. And we've all seen in movies, we've all seen in TV shows, everything's getting sucked out of the plane and everybody's holding on for dear life and screaming and we're spiraling and there's sirens and there's beeping and there's a lot going down. Now, keep in mind how exhausting it would be to hold on for dear life, especially with all that chaos going on. And essentially what I had described is our ears popping. We feel like we've been, in a washer machine, tossed around, chewed up, spit out. Think of the energy that would have to go into trying to pull that door shut. And when that door shut to the plane, everything calmed down. We all dropped to the ground. We were no longer free floating in space. All the items that have tried to get, sucked out of that door, they're everywhere. We're all discombobulated. We are now looking at one another wide-eyed like, what the hell just happened? We're exhausted. We're in a state of trauma at this point. We have no clue what just went down. And that was very much like many of us were feeling when that portal closed. Why? Well, because when the high energy vibrational frequencies come in with these special kind of alignments and portals, we're receiving a lot of energy. We're receiving a lot of light codes, a lot of information, a lot of downloads from the other realms. And we get used to it. Believe it or not, we get used to the high vibrations. And sometimes when those high vibrations are disrupted, we crash. And many of us felt exhaustion. Myself on Wednesday, I was coach bound. Couldn't think, couldn't speak, couldn't see properly. there was just a whole lot of discombobulation going on in my physical body, in my physical realm, and I was coach bound, could not do anything, didn't want to look at the TV that was spinning, heard a lot of information coming in. It was a very tough day. And for those of us light workers that have been here holding the line and holding up the vibe for the rest of the collective to wake up and deal with their shadow, it was time for us to give our arms a break, right? It was time for us to give our bodies a break. I don't know, as a light worker, I don't know if you realize the amount of energy that we're putting out into the cosmos every freaking day to try and keep the vibe high enough so that Mother Earth can actually shift into new Earth. And with all these people waking up over the last 3 weeks of this portal, because of the protests going on in the world, because of the information coming in from our physical realms, changing, skewing the perspective of some of these sleepers, it was a scary thing. I've been talking about this for weeks. I would not want to be waking up right now. I'm glad I have, a decade plus under my belt at this point. I'm glad that I don't need to rely on the news or any kind of information or source outside of myself to understand what's going on in the world, because it is a crazy freaking place to be living in right now. So of course, we were all exhausted. Now let me remind you that we're in a process of purging and releasing here. Why? Because we're in Pisces season. I need to give this reminder, okay? If you were feeling broken, if you were feeling exhausted, if you feel like you can't take any more, guess what? Congratulations. You're exactly where it is that you need to be. You're exactly where it is on the path, on the journey, on the track in which you need to be in order to actually be evolving. You're not supposed to feel good right now. You're not supposed to feel good with energy. You're not supposed to feel inspired and motivated. That's what we're supposed to be working towards when Pisces season ends. The beginning of Pisces season is dark. It's elusive. It's delusional. We want to escape. It's heavy, it's cold, we feel like we're on a boat, we're in water season, and the seas are very choppy right now. It's going to take some time for us to find those calmer seas. We are stomach sick, we are nauseous, okay? We are out in the middle of the freaking ocean, surrounded in darkness. We don't know if we're going to survive. We don't know if we have the energy to paddle our ass back to the shore. We don't know even where the shore is at this point. So if you are feeling like your world is shook, congratulations, you're exactly where it is that you need to be. So that whole 222 portal definitely did something, because there was a glitch in the matrix. We've seen that on the Schumann Resonance. Okay. The glitch in the matrix is a good thing. It means that we have essentially collapsed the timelines, the old constructs, the old foundation, the old structure and system that the old slavery matrix was built upon. We collapsed a certain percentage of that, which opened us up to new possible timelines that we can now shift into. This is a huge deal. Many people don't understand that the death, the destruction, the damage that we're currently seeing in the world right now is actually a good sign. It would be scary as hell if we weren't seeing this, because it would mean that we were essentially still stuck in the same system meant and built, constructed to destroy us. The fact that we are seeing the damage and the destruction take place across the globe right now is a positive sign, because that means that there is a change taking place that is cleaning the slate, giving us a brand new foundation to build new systems, routines, structures off of. Okay, this is what we've been talking about. This is what I've been going on about for, like I said, a decade plus now. Finally, thank you to those that are on the same wavelength as me, that, are on the up and up of what's going on. It feels so good to have other people to talk to understand what's going on. So I want to thank you for that. But nonetheless, we're in a very pivotal time of humanity. And everybody's saying, oh my goodness, it's taking so long. Well, guess what? Evolution takes a long time. It actually takes 25,000 years to wrap up a life lesson and wrap up a chapter of humanity. So for all you thinking that we're going to go back to this quote unquote normal anytime soon, you're fooled. This is a rebuilding of a civilization that we haven't even created yet. We are only in the very beginnings of a 25,000 year cycle. We are only in the very beginnings of a 2100 year cycle. Again, check out the Mayan calendar. Huge understanding about what's going on in the world if you have the understanding of the Mayans and their calendar and their timing and what is going on here. And, when you look at decades, well, we're in the 2020s. And History repeats itself. Go back to 1920 and figure out what was going on there in history, because we're literally repeating history. This is a cyclical nature. This is a cyclical pattern here on Earth. There's a very easy way to predict the future, and it's by understanding the past. And so we are in the second year of a decade that is very much resembling the kind of struggles that we went through back in the 1920s, even back in the 1820s, even go back 17, 16, 15, 20s. There's all a common theme. There's all a common denominator. It's all a cycle. It's all a pattern. Please brush up on your history if you want to understand the present moment and you want to understand the future. So yeah, we're still talking about last week. I know I went on a little bit of a rant there, but it's all connected. It's hard for me to keep it separate because it all kind of feeds off one another. Mercury is finally out of his shadow period. This is great news. As you know, once he comes direct out of his retrograde, it does take a couple of weeks, roughly about 2 weeks, to come full speed. This means essentially his drugs have worn off. Now he's remembering the time that he had in his retrograde. Now he's seeing things clearly. Now he's putting the pieces together of the details that he missed while he was retrograde. This is going to have us thinking so freaking clearly, communicating way better. Now keep in mind, we still are in Pisces season. So Pisces season makes things a little bit wish-washy, a little bit vague. We're definitely better communicators in our inner realm than we are using our physical bodies to get the message out to the outer realm. It's a very introverted time. But nonetheless, Mercury, headspace, communication, how we understand things, how we perceive, how we express. We are up to our fullest potential now with Mercury, back to his fullest potential, and that is going to be an absolute game changer. So let's talk about this week. Well, we're ending February, thank goodness. And believe it or not, February was a quiet month. And I mean that with all seriousness. Yes, it was a transformative month. Yes, it was very intense. But astrologically speaking and evolutionary speaking, it was a quiet month. We definitely faced our darkness. We faced a lot of changing situations. Again, may I remind you, we're at the end of the zodiac wheel. We're at the end of an astrological calendar, which means that we're at the end of a lot of storylines, a lot of soul contracts. This is a good thing. It might feel dark. It might feel like a loss. It might feel confusing. But again, if that's how you are feeling, you're exactly where it is that you need to be. So with February ending, that means that we're jumping into a brand new month. March, let me tell you, March is going to be a freaking roller coaster of action, more so than thoughts and feelings. February was very much about not really seeing the kind of changes in our physical realm that we would like. It was very mentally, spiritually, and emotionally stimulating. March, especially the second half, is all about action. That's why we're going through this darkness. That's why we're going through the ending and the purge right now, the releasing period, because we have to clean the slate in order for the action to actually have a space to be built in. March is the number 3 vibration. 3 rules over our mental plane. It rules over our throat chakra. It rules over action. Why? Because when you take a look at the number 2, which February was, it was about recognizing where it is that we needed stability, where it is that there was a new grounding point, very focused on relationships, money matters, seeing our physical realms change in a way that is showing us what it is that we have to do from here in order to align us with the new dreams and new visions that we're now being inspired to pursue. So you get into the number 3. 3 is a time of action. Now things are changing up a bit. Now we're kind of seeing where it is that we have to tweak. First of all, our mental plane, because Mercury rules over the number 3. It's a Gemini energy as well. So Gemini energy being ruled over by Mercury. Also, my Virgo friends, pay attention because your minds are definitely going to be at a different level with Mercury being your ruler as well. This number 3 energy is showing us where it is that we got to wake up, where it is we got to start putting the pieces together of the things that had just transpired, where we got to start planning, where we got to start being a little bit more vocal, using our throat chakras, communicating, expressing all the aha moments and realizations that we've had within us. This is a time for us to make active changes by using our inner realms that have been very heightened, very chaotic over the last little bit, and bringing it into the physical realm. Again, Gemini energy is dualistic. It's polarized. It is the dark, it is the light. It is the good, it is the bad. It is the up, it is the down. It is the realistic world, it is the spiritual world. And it is our job to live in those extremes, to find a meet point, to find common ground. Mercury, the messenger of the gods, well, he has been doing a lot of work. And as you know, Mercury is now up to snuff, up to speed, and he is ready to make up for lost time. So this is why we're going to see a lot of action take place in March, especially the second half, once we move into Aries season, initializing the brand new astrological calendar. That's why we're going through Pisces season right now. It is about death, endings. It is about closure. It is about release. We have to let it go. We have to create a space in order for us to be reborn. That is what Aries season does with the equinox. It gives us fire back. It wakes us up. It gives us passion. It gives us excitement. It gives us inspiration. We're fired up. We're charged up. We're ready to take action. We're ready to be bold. We're ready to be brave. We're ready to be courageous. There's a lot going to happen in the second half of March. But we still have to get through the first part of March, which again is still Pisces energy ruled. So we have a pretty big event between the True Node squaring Chiron on the 1st. We're starting this month off with a bang. This is a tension point, a conflict point of pain, of wounds of the world, going head to head with one another and recognizing where this tension point is needed in order for the damage, death, and destruction to be cleared away, to clean the slate, in order for the new foundations to be built. That's what the True Node is all about, showing us where it is that we need to be to reach our highest potential. Now, one may say, okay, but, and I really hesitate because I really don't want to bring this up here because so many people don't understand what's going on in the world, and I really don't feel like I should be the one to expose what's going on into the world. But there is a quote unquote war going on right now, and I say quote unquote war because what you're being told in the media is not what is happening. And since we live in upside down land and opposite land, you have to use your intuition and discernment in order to truly understand what's going on. I know that, the bad guy, the Russian bad guy, yeah, he's made quite a name for himself, but y'all don't realize that he had his whole soul taken over not too long ago, and that he's actually not the evildoer. Okay, the evildoers are NATO. The evildoers are the Bidens trying to protect their shadiness that they have entrenched in the Ukraine. Okay, the Ukraine got a lot. Ukraine is a beautiful place, love the people, but highest rates for trafficking of humans of all kinds, of all ages. The dirtiness that the Biden family and the majority of the U.S. administration has entrenched in the Ukrainian realm of their pipelines, their gas lines. If you don't realize yet how much money these people are funneling through Ukraine, you really have to take a couple of the key words that I'm spitting at you and do your own research, because I can't do a full unfolding of what's going on in the world. But trust me, what you're being told in the news, your current understanding of what's going on in that particular area of the world right now is not what it seems. And this is why intuition and discernment is the greatest asset that you can have right now. You got to stop looking outside of yourself for information. You got to stop looking outside of yourself for validation in the information that you deem to be correct, in alignment with your truth within. Okay? You're not going to find the truth outside of yourself. Clear cut, not finding the truth outside of yourself. Everything that you need to know is within you. Use your intuition, use your level of discernment. Everything that is happening in the world right now is 100% scripted, 100% divinely protected, 100% necessary in order for us to get to where it is that we need to be. And you need to trust that. Okay, I ranted about that for too long as well. We have a new moon in Pisces taking place on the 2nd, taking place at 12 degrees. Going to be a good one. Is it going to feel good? Probably not. We have a lot of dark force energies really trying to keep the vibe low so that we don't continue to evolve and enlighten ourselves to the dreams, to the ideas that we had, that we got inspired with back in Aquarius season, that we have to now infuse with an emotion, because of course that's the recipe to manifest. You have to have an idea. You have to have a vision. You have to infuse it with the emotion as if you're already living it in order for it to actually physically manifest in your physical realm. That is the equation to manifest. So we take what it is that we've been inspired to pursue back in Aquarius season, this vision, this dream, this goal. And now in Pisces season, we're getting creative. We're dreaming about it. We're adding the details. And most of all, we are backing it with the emotion of what it would feel like if we were actually living that reality in the here and now. We do this because in Aries season, we're going to get the green light to go ahead and take the action in the physical realm that we need to take in order to align our physical realms with the path in which we now know our higher selves have downloaded us with inspiration, with motivation in order to pursue. New moon in Pisces, going to be a banger. It's going to be a hard time to hold the vibe high. We do have some positive elements that are going to help us keep the vibe high, but it is going to be a challenge. It's a challenge for a reason. I want you to remember this. In life, when you feel most challenged, it's because you're on the right path. In life, when you feel the darkest that you've ever felt, it's because you are standing in the brightest light that you have never experienced before. And those darker force agendas will do whatever it is that they need to do to hold you down, to lower that vibration, to prevent you from evolving. That's what this whole energy harvesting enslavement camp called Earth is all about. So trust me when I say it's going to feel heavy, it's going to feel overwhelming, but your job is to hold the vision as high and strong as you can in your mental plane and infuse it with love, infuse it with passion, infuse it with inspiration. Idealize what it is that you would feel in that moment if you were living the dream in which you're currently trying to manifest. And then step back and realize that you've just beat the darker force energies at their own freaking game because you had the heads up. You knew it was coming, you prepared yourself, and you're doing everything that you can in order to stand in your light. So, Venus conjuncts Pluto this week, which is the third of a series of 3. So this is going to take us back. The very first time they conjunct one another was December 11th. The second time they conjunct one another was December 24th. That particular time, though, Venus was in her darkness. She was in retrograde. She was in the under realm. Pluto is about power, about transformation, using the pain to turn into power, using the darkness to turn it into light. Venus is about worth. She is about love. She is about money. She is about our physical realms and what it is that we've been illuminated to while she was in a retrograde of where it is that things need to change. And it all starts with the change within us, realizing that we are worthy and deserving of love, of a healthy relationship, of the kind of financial support and security that we need in order to actually do the things that we love in life. And now they're coming together a third and final time, the day before Venus actually clears out of her shadow. If you do not think that this is going to be a total eclipse of the heart space, you are fooled. If you think that this is not going to be a total emotional boss up in all the right ways in order for us to muster up the courage and bravery that we need in order to bring our internal realizations to our physical realm, you would be fooled. This is going to be a powerful, powerful freaking time. And on the 4th, when Venus actually clears her shadow, our heart space is going through a huge transformation here. Our heart chakras are just popping off. We are literally being cracked open in all the right ways in order for that expansion to happen. And we have to understand that when we are in the darkest moments of our experience, that is only creating more space for us to bring the light spectrum in. So if you are at the depths of your darkness that you have never experienced before, you best believe that that is creating a beautiful opportunity for you to move into a higher state of light than you've ever experienced. Again, we live in a dualistic, polarized type of realm here. You cannot have darkness without the light. You cannot have good without the bad. So if you are currently experiencing your darkness, you are realizing in this moment that you're actually creating a bigger, broader space for you to channel in the light. And we are going to be reminded of that when Venus conjuncts Pluto, when she clears her shadow, period. On the 4th, on the same day that Venus kind of, moves out of that shadow period and she's no longer drugged, she's no longer groggy, she has full control over herself and over what is transpired. We also have the sun conjunct Jupiter. This is an annual meetup, an annual event. Anytime any planet joins up with the sun, this is a brand new vibration, a brand new frequency that we are setting for the brand new period of time that we're moving into. The sun and Jupiter is going to illuminate for us where it is that we need to have hope, where it is that we have to concentrate on the silver linings, where it is that we have to elevate ourselves to a brand new belief system, where it is that blessings of joy and abundance are about to just come down upon us. But again, we're in a dark phase right now where we're creating the space for these beautiful elements to actually have the space to infiltrate our lives. And to wrap this week up, I know this has been long-winded, but Venus and Mars, who are still very much holding hands in the cosmos, and now that Venus is awake, now they're absolutely acting in balance and acting in tandem with one another. Venus and Mars finish up their time in Capricorn. They're prepared to move into Aquarius energy. They do so holding hands at a 0 degree in Aquarius energy on the 6th, which means that from the time that Venus clears out of her shadow and gets this huge positive illumination of love and blessings and joy and, positive possibilities for the future, when the sun conjuncts Jupiter, Venus and Mars continue walking hand in hand together, recognizing that we know what we want, we know what we need, we know what we deserve, and we're not afraid to go after it. And they're going to be entering into a 0 degree of Aquarius on the 6th, which is totally going to transform our alignment, our path, our journey for the future. So it's going to be quite a time. It's going to be quite a week. And you know what? It took me almost damn near a half hour in order to cover the energy from last week and what we can expect for this week. So without further ado, let's jump into the Ascension Symptoms so that we're all in awareness of what we can expect to take place in our physical bodies because of the energy coming in through the cosmos. Now, like we've been discovering, anytime that we're coming into a powerful energy-packed week, such as the one that I just described, you best believe that we are going to feel the ascension symptoms, the physical ailments, the discomfort in our physical bodies because of the energy fluctuating, pulsating, ebbing, and flowing. We have to understand that this is the physical indicator that we are using our physical vessels to channel the cosmic energy and alchemize it into the vibration and frequency that the Mother Earth, Gaia herself, needs us to be at in order for her to wake up and evolve and jump back on the battlefield and fight for humanity. This is what this is all about. So I feel like we have to do a little bit of a reminder. I know I just did one about Pisces season, but let me just hit this home for you, okay? Wild ass dreams, night terrors, okay? Feeling drugged, feeling groggy, feeling like you got sea legs, feeling like the temperature shift is coming up from the depths of the cold ass waters that our feet are hanging in because we're in Piscean waters and we're out in the ocean in the darkness. We can't see anything. We don't know where we're at. We don't know if we're ever going to see land again, okay? Things are ending. If you're crying, that's a good thing. That's a release. If you're at the point where you've had enough, you can't take anymore, congratulations, you're exactly where it is that you need to be. Again, when we first move into an energetic season, so Pisces season, we just moved into Pisces season, we tend to experience the shadow part of the season, of the energy. And as we build throughout the season, we reach our halfway point. That's when we kind of gain a little bit of stability. So we're not there yet, but we will be. And then as we reach that halfway point, we're going to move into the second half of the season. And that is where we tend to move into the positive traits, the light qualities of the season. So right now we're in the darkness, we're in the delusion, we're in the shadow part, we're in the unconscious collective, we're in the endings, we're in the chapters that we need to close, that we need to purge, that we need to release. So the second half of Pisces season will be when we're truly inspired again, when we understand the spiritual lessons that we just went through, when we understand where it is that we got to stop ripping ourselves down and instead get to work building ourselves back up. The shift into the positive qualities will likely take place with the new moon in Pisces, but also keep in mind that the new moon is the dark phase of the moon. So we have to sit in the darkness. We have to fall apart. We have to unravel. We have to feel the frustration, the depression, the I can't take anymore. I've had enough. We have to feel that in the dark phase of the moon so that we understand where the change, where the transformation is 100% needed in our lives. And so after the new moon, once we start seeing that little glimmer and shimmer of the moon in our sky again, that is like where we start building ourselves back up, when we start dreaming, when we start inspiring ourselves and doing all the positive qualities that, of course, the Piscean energy is very karmically healing. It doesn't feel like we're healing because many of us think that healing should be light and fluffy and hopeful and inspired. Well, that's one part of it, but healing comes by recognizing how much freaking pain we're in, how much darkness we're in, how much we need a change, how much we just 100% need to escape our physical realms as of right now because they're too much. It's too overwhelming. It's too dysfunctional. It's too dark. It's too heavy. It's too weighted. So we are going to feel that shift. But here's the thing. We got a lot of anxiety going on. We have a lot of tremors taking place in our body. We have a lot of shaking. These are all signs and symptoms of release. May I remind you that the light codes are not foo-foo, okay? This is what the Schumann Resonance is for. It's a scientific measurement tool of the electromagnetic frequency that we receive here on Earth because of solar flares, because of other planetary alignments aligning with us in the cosmos, giving us a true straight beam of information coming in from other realms. Like, we have so many eyes on us from other realms right now because we are an experiment to the cosmos. Humanity is an experiment. And so the only way that they can kind of get to us is send us light codes. What are light codes? Information. When we talk about love and light, what you're really saying is, here's information, here's awareness, here's enlightenment. Now use it, because usually information comes in as very troubling, use it to alchemize from darkness to light, from hate to love. That's our whole mission here. That's why we're here. It's what we're doing. So when the light codes come into our bodies, that's when we feel exhausted. That's when we feel dizzy. That's when we feel like overwhelmed. Our body systems, our central nervous system is all, kind of kerfuffled. And the anxiety that we're feeling, the tremors that we're feeling, the shaking going on in our bodies is asking us to move our physical form to help the energetic vibrations that are trapped in our cellular memory because of the traumatic experiences that we have had in our human path. They want out. We need to help it, okay? This isn't like, oh, I'm having ascension symptoms, I'm just going to sit back and ride it out. No, we have to do our part. There are things that you can do to help the physical, biological chemistry in your physical body to do its thing in the physical realm, in this physical density, to help the energetic body become in alignment. So you're having all of these twitches, all of these spasms, all of these tremors, all this shakiness. Maybe it's hard to breathe. Well, it is hard to breathe. We're freaking drowning. We're in the middle of the ocean. We're treading water. We're exhausted. This is Pisces season. We are having lung issues. Why? Because we have to expand our chests. Why? Because our heart chakras reside in our chest, and our heart chakras need to be expanded in order to let in more love, more light. We're having a hard time breathing. The dizziness, the buzzing is very discombobulating, but it's because the world is changing. The electromagnetic frequencies from the radiation of the cosmic space weather that's been going on in the cosmos for this great grand awakening, because we're on the precipice of the age of Aquarius, all of this is helping us to adapt to a different perception of the reality in which we're living in. Many people have just awakened, and this is a state of chaos to them. This is why us seasoned light workers are so freaking exhausted all the time, because we're holding the bar up. We're anchoring these vibrations down in Mother Earth. We're holding the vibration up because the people that are awakening, that are looking at the state of the world in which we've already kind of come to peace with, of the damage and destruction and lies and betrayal and corruption, it's a scary freaking place to be living in right now. And that creates dissociation. That creates detachment. That creates a dizziness in the perception of the reality in which you've been living. And as light workers, as seasoned light workers who are strong enough to hold the vibration of the unconscious collective in an awareness, in a conscious collective state, we are feeling the signs and the symptoms of the newly awakened. That's why on Wednesday I had to lay the F down. No sounds around me, no stimulation, no nothing. I was queasy, I was nauseous, I was spinning, I was buzzing, my skin was crawling. Because the glitch in the matrix made us collapse a timeline that the dark force energies didn't ever expect that we as humanity could ever reach a vibration and a frequency where we could collapse that mother effer for good, okay? The scary parts of life right now, again, I don't want to talk about the war. I don't know why they continue to bring up this war because I don't want to talk about it. If any of y'all are out there who are constantly feeling like you're at war with your guides because they're asking you to do stuff that you don't want to do here in this physical realm, and they're telling you that you got to do it because it's part of your mission, and your egoic and spiritual self in this physical body is fighting it tooth and nail, I feel for you because I deal with this every freaking day. Okay. I do not want to be the person that stands here and it tries to explain the world to people. I don't want that. I do want to drop little hints and cues so that those of you that are awake or those of you that are curious enough can go do the research in order to become fully aware of what's going on in the world and then come back and private message me or comment on these videos in a cryptic way so that you don't get me censored or barred. So that I know that I'm not the only one who understands what's going on in the freaking world here. I know I'm not the only one. I know I'm not. I've had the pleasure of crossing paths with some very beautiful people in this community, so I know I'm not the only one. But I also know that this is not the time, the place, nor the platform in order for me to talk about the details that one would have to talk about to fully explain all that is going on in the world right now. But again, may I remind you that the depths of the darkness that we're currently seeing manifest and play out on this physical realm is a desperate grab and reach to maintain the power that the dark force agenda knows that they are losing. Why do I know this? Because the war has already been won, my friends. Okay? The cosmic realm, the energetic realm, they've already won this war. What we're currently experiencing on this physical earth is nothing but the aftermath, the effects that need to be mirrored on this physical plane that have already transpired in other realms. That's why I'm not worried about it. I know this is going to sound sick and hopefully y'all don't take this in the wrong way, but I am thoroughly entertained by the comings and goings, the ups and downs of the global events that are going on right now. Thoroughly entertained. I've been waiting for this for decades. I see each step of the plan. I see each indication when it starts coming across the mainstream media and the news in this physical realm. I cheer it on, whether it's a good or bad or ugly event. It doesn't matter. We are reaching the point in the timeline that I was downloaded with way back when I died and came back. And I celebrate these very pivotal times. It's exciting. We are on track. Finally, we are on track. This is a good sign to me. And when you have a bigger, grander understanding of all that is going on in other realms and being manifest here on this physical realm, you too will be entertained. Okay? So I mean that with as much love and compassion and empathy. If you come at me saying, how could you think that war is fun? And how could you think that, freedom's being taken away is fun? You're coming from a 3D realm, my friend. And I understand it and I appreciate that. I don't come from the 3D realm. I'm not from here. I came here for a mission, for a plan to help humanity because of the game plan that I knew that had to take place on this physical realm. And I knew that because I'm not from here. I've been downloaded with a mission, with a perspective. I understand the playbook. So when I see certain events arise here on this physical earth, on this physical realm, I'm in triumph. I'm in celebration because I understand that these events are absolutely necessary for us to get to where it is that we need to be so that I can fulfill my mission and I can go the F home. That's what I'm here for. That's what I'm doing here. I know that I'm not the only one. Light workers are here for a reason. We are alive during this time for a very specific reason. And that, my friends, is the reason: to raise the vibration of the frequency of the earth so that we can collapse the old timeline, free ourselves from this energetic and slavery process that we've been in since the beginning of time, so that we can shift into new earth where we can put the power back to the people, where we can build a civilization that actually supports our enlightenment, our knowledge, returns the power back to the people in all kinds of different ways, where magic is restored, so that we that are not from here can go back home. I am merely doing a job here, merely on a mission. And if you're tuning in and you feel the same, I want you to drop a line in the comments below, because I know I'm not the only one. We cross paths for a reason. This community was built with the people that are in it for a reason. So I know that many of you are resonating with my message, with my voice, with my understanding, with my perspective. So that's why we're having anxiety. That's why we're having tremors. We know something big is around the corner, and it is. We're living it right now. Everybody has this anticipation of, oh, something big is happening around the corner, and oh, something big is about to happen. We've been living it. We are in it. There's something big happening each and every freaking moment because we're in it. This will go down in Earth's history and in the history of the universe, of the multiverse, of the cosmos, of the entire freaking experimental phase that we're in. This is written in history, and history is a very pivotal time to capture, especially when humanity has never gotten this far in its evolution. This is a time, people. This is a time. This is why we're feeling the energy just shake our central nervous system right up, because our biological, dense physical forms don't know how other to process what it is that we're currently feeling other than to call it anxiety. So our heart, which is Venus, she's coming out of the shadow this week. She's also going to bump into, Pluto, which is going to remind her of all the realizations that she had about her worth and what it is she wanted and what made her happy and what it is she deserves in life. He's going to remind her of that. It's probably not going to feel so good. I'm going to rewind you to Venus's 40 days and 40 nights in the underworld, in her state of darkness, being drugged, having a lot of epiphanies about what it is that needs to change in her physical realm. Her bumping into Pluto is going to activate all of that again. And when she clears her shadow period, her and Mercury, who just got out of his shadow period that spent almost 20 days, half of the time with Venus in the underworld, in this imprisonment of their shadow selves, they're getting together in a big way. And what makes things even more powerful is our heart and our head coming on the same page. Is that powerful? Sure. But what makes it even more powerful is that Mars is here holding Venus's hand. This is action. This is the god of war. He is fighting for us. He is leading the charge. He has his battle gear on. He has his sword up. He is cutting through the obstacles, the challenges in which we have to face in order to align us with our passion, with our desire, with what it is that we deserve. This is a very powerful time. We are going to have heart activations. So chest pain, we're going to feel like our heart is skipping a beat. We are going to feel like we have gas bubbles in our chest, again, making it very hard to breathe. We are being cracked open in all kinds of good ways. Does it feel good? No. Is it for our betterment? Yes. Why? Because we have to expand the space in which the light can funnel in. And right now we are very rigid, very closed in our heart chakras. In our head space, we are getting huge amounts of downloads. That's why you feel dizzy. That's why you feel headaches. That's why you feel eye twitching. That's why you feel like your eyes are leaking all the time. That's why you have sinus congestion. That's why your ears are clicking, ears are popping. There's a lot of energy coming in from the cosmos. And this week, because Venus and Mercury and Mars are all on the same page, are charging forward, again, may I remind you, all planets are direct for the first time since April of 2021 and will remain direct until the end of April of 2022. We are in a time of moving forward. But the darkness is going to creep in. That's Pluto's job. Pluto's job is to remind us of our pain, of our suffering, of our shadow part, of our darkest part of ourselves, to inspire us to stop playing the victim, to take our power back, to stand in our power, to take control over what it is that we have control over. And what we always have control over is the way that we look at things, is our perspective, is the narrative in which we allow to loop in our mental plane. So, are you going to be reminded of the depths of your darkness? Absolutely. Are you going to choose to set up camp there and live there for the rest of your life? Well, that is up to you and the current part of evolution that you're currently in your healing journey. Because what Pluto is meant to do is to remind you of all that darkness so that you can be inspired and motivated to do what is necessary to break free of that victim mentality, of that darkness, of that fear, of all of that yuckiness, and enlighten yourself to a new form of power, which is taking all of that dark stuff, reframing it in a way that inspires you instead of restricts you to living in fear, living in pain, living in suffering. Now, there's going to be a lot of crying. There's going to be a lot of sweating. There may even be, and I would support this, a lot of screaming. Why? Because that is a form of release. That is a form of purging. That is a way to help the energy move in your physical form. You got to get the energy out. You got to get it out of your body. Our throat chakras are popping off. Again, Mercury is now up to his fullest speed. We have a lot to say. We might not know how to say it, but we know we got to get it out. We might be having cold sores or blisters in our mouth. Again, with the teeth pain, the jaw pain, the split lips. Okay? This is all indications that the energy being built up in the throat chakra is too much. We got to let it out. And when we let it out, we're going to feel a change in our bodies, a change in our mental state, a change in our heart space, which comes with a change of attitude, a change of perspective. We are on the precipice of a huge freaking change that's happening in our inner realms, preparing us for the changes that are taking place in our physical realms. Yes, we are going to have cramps about it. It's a hard pill to swallow. It is hard information to digest. We're going to have a lot of bowel and bladder spasms. Why? Because many of us are having a hard time letting go of what it is that we need to let go of. Our bowels, our bladder is a detox system in our physical bodies. We got to get rid of the crap, literally, out of our bodies. But emotionally and mentally, our energetic body, if we're holding on to old ways, old attachments, old relationships, old attitudes, old perspectives, we get energy blockages in those systems. The tremors, the pains, maybe you're going to get a UTI, maybe you're constipated, you're all backed up, you're having cramps. Maybe all of that is an indicator that you're not doing the emotional and mental work that you need to keep the energy flowing correctly in your physical body. So we are going to experience that. Again, we're in a releasing phase, a purging phase. We have to let it out. We have to get it out of our bodies. We have to lighten the load. Yes, you're going to have some tension in your hips. You might even have sciatica flare-ups. Why? Because we have sea legs right now. We have cold feet. We know we have to make a change. We know we have to take action. We're not supported in doing that. We're holding everything in. Our legs are getting tired from treading water in this Piscean ocean of emotion that we're in. We're having a hard time with the lower parts of our body. Why? Because the lower parts of our body are connected to the lower chakra system. The lower chakra system up into the heart chakra, everything from the heart chakra down is affecting and connected to and attached to our egoic identity here in the physical body, here in this physical realm. The heart chakra is where we blend the lower system chakras that are attached to this physical realm with the higher chakras of our energetic body, our spiritual body, our intuition. Our heart chakra is the overlap between the upper and lower chakra system. It is the electrical pulse that vibrates our aura out into the world. If you haven't pieced together yet why the last 2 years you needed to stay 6 feet or 6 meters, I can't even remember, I'm not good with measurements, apart from one another, it's because that's your energetic field. They didn't want you blending your energetic field and vibration with other people. That's what social distancing was all about. Good thing that is coming to an end. Again, if you haven't realized that we have been in war in the last 2 years, a war against the elites to the people. That's why the COVID thing is coming to an end. The experiment's over. So now we're going to be able to connect with one another when again, this is a very scary thing, especially for the dark force agenda, realizing that we met their plans of hatred and confinement with love and unity. They did not expect that. They expected us to throw down and give a shit show in order for them to enforce martial law on us, which, again, I'm Canadian, so if you're not up on what's going on with this whole thing up here, it's wild. But you should be up on it, because this is going to be a domino effect now taking place in the States, now taking place across the pond in Europe. We are seeing the same thing unfold because all the leaders of the nations are all involved in this dark force agenda, except for a very few. And those very few people are demonized in the media. So again, this is upside down world. This is opposite world. If the media tells you to hate someone, it's probably a good sign that they're on the right side and you should be cheering them on instead of going against them. That's all I'm going to say about that, because again, my guides want me to go on a rant that I'm not willing to go on right now. So I'm going to deviate from that altogether. The last thing that I want to leave you with is the change in attitude that I think many of us need, that many of us are anticipating. We are going to feel that change not only with the new moon in Pisces, but mostly when the sun conjuncts Jupiter. This is a bright light, a brand new will, a brand new desire, a brand new perspective, a brand new blessing, brand new confidence, brand new optimism coming at us. And again, like I continue saying, the second half of a zodiac season is when we gravitate towards the positive qualities of the sign. And Jupiter's in Pisces. Neptune is in Pisces. The sun is in Pisces. This is a beautiful time to manifest, to be powerful, to dream, to tap into creativity, to close the karmic door, close the karmic chapters, to invite the new ones in. But it all starts with you. It all starts with you. It all starts with your vibration. It starts with your willpower, your perspective, your perseverance, your strength, your motivation, your dreams, your inspiration. Yes, it's going to be a little bit overwhelming. Yes, it's going to be a little bit extra, hella dramatic, because we're not used to feeling these vibrations. This is the first time we've ever reached these particular vibrations in the whole existence of the earth and humanity. This is unprecedented times for the collective. It's going to feel overwhelming. It's going to feel chaotic. It's going to feel semi-manic. Ride the wave, people. Okay? Ride the wave. If you need a pool noodle, if you need to put on your floaties, if you need a life jacket, do whatever you got to do to continue to tread water, to keep your head above that water. Because trust me, when I say that there is a beautiful shift coming, and that beautiful shift is first going to be felt within you before we're going to start seeing it in our physical realities. So I am going to wrap it up here. I feel like that was enough. I feel like if I continue to go on, my guides are going to pressure me into having a conversation that I don't want to have. Maybe we'll save that for next week. I'll battle it out for the next week with them to see what it is that we can compromise here about. But I do really encourage you to use your intuition, to use your discernment, to stop looking outside of yourself for validation on the truth that you know to be true within you. Stop listening to the news. Stop listening to the physical realm that you feel is going to dictate to you what is actually going on in the world, because let me remind you, this is an illusion. This is a script. This is an agenda that you may never fully understand being played out on the physical realm due to the way that it went down in the higher realms. So have faith, trust the process, trust yourself. And at the end of the day, although there are a million reasons to have doubts, to live in fear, there's one good freaking reason for you to abandon all that and stand in nothing but love and trust and joy. And that one reason is New Earth. That's what we're here to do. That's what we're here to build. So every single time you feel those darker forces trying to pull you in a lower vibration, fight back by thinking about the things that you love, the things that bring you joy, the things that make you laugh. Think about the vision of the life in which you are going to be living. When you hold that vision strong, when you back it with an emotion, when you infuse it with the feeling as if you're already living it, because that is what New Earth is all about. The New Earth starts within you, and then each of us come together, bring our new Earths individually together, and that vibration is going to create the new Earth that the collective will be experiencing for years to come. So I want to thank you for being here. I want to thank you for showing up in the chat, for loving one another, so for supporting one another. I want to thank you not only for showing up for me, but for showing up for yourself. We have a hell of a job on our desk right now, but we are passing the tests with flying colors. Trust that, believe in it, and most of all, believe in yourself. Sending you nothing but love. We'll talk to you soon.